Alright, this is going to be my video of my homemade arcade table using the Raspberry Pi 2. I'm not going to go over the whole table itself build. You can build whatever you want. But this will be kind of how I built it. I don't know if it'll be helpful or not, but thanks for watching. I'm building one just as like a coffee table. And then I got a joystick, buttons, player one, coin, first player, second player, coin, second player, joystick, buttons over here. I got this pattern, printed it off. I think it's a Sanwa pattern 1 or whatever it was. I went with the curved, so it was a little more comfortable. Instead of having them straight across, you can actually curve over your fingers, whatever you need to do. And then buttons over here. I'll be putting 3 buttons on the side for enter, escape, tab, whatever buttons I need for running through the menu and doing setup. So there's that. Here's the buttons. What I'm going to start doing is daisy chaining the LEDs. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to do all the grounds for the buttons and the joysticks. And then we'll go start doing the positives, running it to the iPac 2. We'll see how this turns out. Alright, I got all the LEDs wired up here. All the buttons. Left some extra room here. I got 3 more buttons going on the side I haven't put in yet. I gotta put the sides on the table. And now I'm gonna start doing the grounds. Get all those done. And yeah, if the LEDs don't work, all you gotta do is switch the positive and negative, because LEDs only run the one way, so don't freak out and think you got bad buttons. So, alright. Here's the buttons lit up. As you can see, there's a couple not working, so all you gotta do is you just gotta switch the positive and the ground and they should work. Let's give her a try. Alright, yeah, I just had to switch the positive and negative on the LEDs and they're all lit up now, looking pretty good. See how they look with the lights off. Ooh, fancy. So yeah, that's that, and all I'm using to run it is a old cell phone charger. I think it's 5.4 volts with 800 milliamps. You could go higher, maybe brighter, but it looks good enough to me. And I had that laying around, so it didn't cost me any money. Try to keep this project cheap. So there's the LEDs. All right, all the grounds are done now. Starting to become a mess. Now I'm starting to run all the button wires. Let's see if we can see that. There you go. So up, down, left, right, start, coin, all these buttons. Running these, running them up into where they're supposed to go. And then when you're doing a joystick, make sure you do the opposite, because when you push down it goes up, and when you push up it goes down. So do the opposite ones on those, and I'll get back to you when I got it all done. Alright, got all the buttons wired up to the iPac 2. Let's see, and then I got these 3 buttons here. Those will go on the side when I get the wood pieces. Let's see, I just put the buttons wherever. I'm hoping that I can set them up on the Raspberry Pi. See how easy that's going to be. I'm no programmer, so hopefully this will all be good. So that's it for now.
Okay, for the iPAQ 2, you're going to want to download the WinPAQ version 2 from Ultimark.com. You just click download there, and then once you get it downloaded, it'll look like this. It's pretty self-explanatory. You know, you just it's what your iPAQ 2 looks like, obviously there. And then I went and I switched 1B to enter, and then I switched 1A to escape, and then switched 7 to F4. F4 is to restart it, and escape and enter just to kind of run through the menu. And you could do whatever you want, but it's pretty easy to do. I still can't get player 2 to work. I think it's just the games I got aren't compatible with like a keyboard type gamepad, so I'll have to keep figuring that out, but for this video that should be good. Here's my Raspberry Pi, the 4 USBs, Ethernet cable, mini USB for power, HDMI, audio out, but you don't need the audio out with the HDMI as long as your TV or computer screen or whatever you're using has speakers. This is the official Raspberry Pi case. You got the side covers there, snap in on both sides, just like that. And then the top cover. And the top cover, the opening here, if you wanted to, they sell a LCD touchscreen that connects to your pins there and fits right in there, so you don't even have to do anything. And then you got the other cover there, so it looks like this. It's hard to do with one hand here. So it looks like that all together. And now I got the Wi-Fi wireless adapter, so I'm not going to use the Ethernet. And then I'm using a computer monitor for this project, and that's got the HDMI, so I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to use external speakers from the monitor that hopefully will sound better. And then the iPAQ 2 here, if you can see that, right here is a mini USB that came with a cable, mini USB to regular USB. So I'll just plug that in there, and then I got a USB keyboard I'll use for initial setup. And hopefully everything will go good. Okay, I'm not gonna go over all the technical programming kind of typey stuff because I have no idea what I'm talking about. So the place I found that helped the most was the petrockblock.com/retropie blog or whatever it is. It has everything on there that you need, like instructions, how to do it, what is it, script if you know how to do that stuff, the SD image. You could download the SD image from here, so you put on your SD card, what emulator, it has everything you need to know. So, you know, this video is just kind of how I did my project, but I would suggest definitely coming here and reading up. They did a wonderful job outlining everything. It was super helpful. Okay, for your RetroPie OS, operating system, whatever you want to call it, you're going to want to be able to have a SD card slot in your computer. Okay, and then you download the RetroPie image. Okay, and then you'll have to unzip it with 7-zip. You could download that off the internet. And then once you get that, you're going to want to download it's Win32 Disk Imager. So then you drag your RetroPie OS into the image file, and then it'll pop up here on the device, your SD card slot. You're going to want to write your RetroPie image onto your SD, and that will be your hard drive for your Raspberry Pi. So it's pretty slick. I mean, if you're a programmer, you can do whatever, build it yourself, but this is pretty slick. Okay, once you get your Raspberry Pi image on your SD card, you slide it in the back there. You can't really see, it's kind of dark in here now. Put it in there, power it up, get your HDMI hooked up, keyboard, whatever. It'll come to a screen to configure the controllers. So you just go up, down, follow it, whatever. If you run out of buttons, just hold the previous button and it'll go through, and you won't have to mess with the buttons anymore. So I already did that, so I'll kind of give you an idea what the screen looks like. There's the Super Nintendo, RetroPie. The only ones on there right away are like the RetroPie. Sega's not on there. Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo's not on there. You'll have to follow the instructions to get your USB working. You got to run through. If you go to that Pet Rock blog, it'll show you all this stuff. You gotta expand your SD card, and then you get your USB stick. You create a file that says RetroPie. Plug it in, and then it'll blink for a while. When it stops blinking, you take it out, put it in your computer, and then put your emulator or your games in the emulator file. Like it'll have a Sega file. You put your Sega games in there. Super Nintendo, put your Super Nintendo games in there. Atari, PlayStation, Xbox One, PS4, whatever you want to do. And then once you get those in there, you just plug it right back into the Raspberry Pi, and it automatically reads it. And then you just, you go to your screen, Super Mario, let's go to this one, there's Super Mario Brothers 3, loads up, wait a second, and then there's your game, and you're off to having some fun with some retro games. Player one, play, got your sound coming, play your levels, have your fun. Alright, here's the arcade table. It's just kind of doing a test right here. Got the Raspberry Pi there. Obviously that's not going to be there when I'm done. So we got some Super Mario Brothers 3 here. Start button. Coin. I guess I need select or whatever. Let's see. Never very good at this one. Let's see. Close. But yeah, there's that. Alright, this is first test. Got the player one going. There's a test. Okay, so that was my RetroPie project build. Yeah, I kind of just skipped around. I made videos while I went along. So, hope I covered everything. Let's see. My monitor, it's kind of hard to see when you're sitting on the couch playing. It's not really hard to see. It's just a little darker. I mean, a stand-up cabinet might be better. Couldn't get player 2 to work. It looks nice though. So you might save yourself a little bit of money and just do a one player. You know, so you don't have to buy the extra joysticks and buttons or whatever. Unless you know what you're doing, then you could get it to work. I don't know. Like I said a couple times, I'm not a computer guy, programmer guy. Just saw this project, some other guys doing it online, and thought it was a pretty sweet idea. So I don't know what else there is. So putting them on the USB stick, the games, and getting them to work on here is really easy. You know, I suggest if you don't own the game, don't put it on there. Copyright laws. I own all these games, so that's why I download these, because I play them. I used to play them back in the day there, and so I liked them, so I got these ones. Yeah, it's pretty fun little guy. The kids love it. Like I said, the monitor, you find like one you can lay down and still see pretty good, but you can make it at an angle. I think eventually I might prop it up, have an angle on it. Total I think is maybe $100-$200, something in there, for the whole project. I'll make a video run through kind of the prices. And it cost me a little more because I went a little crazy. I bought new saw, new drill, sander, all the stuff I didn't have. I figured, oh, I might as well buy it new. You know, I probably use it again sometime. But yeah, sorry about the videotaping computer monitor. That didn't really turn out very well, and kind of choppy. But hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. All right, I'll just kind of give you a rundown on like the prices of all this or whatever. I picked up that monitor at a local pawn shop for $35. Pretty good deal. It had the HDMI hookup in the back, so then you just hook it right to the Raspberry Pi like that. The Raspberry Pi itself was like $35. The Raspberry Pi case I think was like $9. USB stick was on sale at Walmart. I think it was like $12. The SD card was like $15. The buttons, all the buttons like these and the 3 on the side, I have paid $40 for. The joysticks, I think I paid $25. You could get all that stuff cheaper, but I didn't want to order from China. I like to get my stuff right now, not wait a couple weeks. So that's why I ordered from America. And what else I got? That iPack I think was like $40. Wasn't too bad. And then I had the HDMI cables laying around. And then, you know, like the power strip I had laying around. The wires and the connectors, like those ones, I think I paid $40 at max, but I bought a lot of wire just because I didn't want to run out when I was building this. Wood, you know, stain, legs, screws, whatever. I mean, you could build whatever you want. I think the plywood was like $20, the legs was like $15, box of screws was like $8, you know, it wasn't too bad. Stain was like $3. It depends on what you build on how much that stuff's gonna cost you.